Hey guys, Gareth here from Purposeful Humans. Hey, we've covered a lot of stuff the last few weeks, whether it's how to take failure and turn it into success, applying the Stoicism 10-point checklist that I created to everyday life, dealing with negative people, and a bunch of other stuff. But today we're going to get real practical. Have you ever wondered why you feel busy, but you're actually not getting anything done? Ever felt like a hamster on a hamster wheel, going full bore, not really getting anywhere? Well, today we're going to focus on the super practical secret to getting shit done that matters. It's not that hard, but you have to be disciplined. So keep watching to understand the key to getting stuff done that matters and not having to deal with the stuff that doesn't matter. So let's take a look at how we get stuff done that actually has meaning to you in your life. But first, let's consider a little bit about how our brain works. Did you know that our brains are only really designed to hold 7 ± 2 items in their memory at any one time before we start losing track of what we're trying to remember? So many of us think that we can succeed walking around with these massive lists of tasks in our head, constantly using up our memory, constantly using up our energy to try and remember the most important things that we need to get done today. But we are kidding ourselves. It's of no use to try and keep that all in our heads. Some of us might be smarter than that, and so we create lists. We might have more than one list, multiple lists with multiple items on them. So much on each list that actually we're not really sure where to start. So what do? We go straight to the top of the list, we start at number 1, and we work our way down. We feel like we're achieving things, but really we're no different to being hamsters. We're spinning that wheel as fast as we possibly can and probably not getting anywhere in the process. And I know that we do this, and we do this in every organisation I've ever been in, whether it's a multinational corporation, sports associations, charities, family-run businesses. I've seen it everywhere. You name any type of organisation, and I promise you there will be people that are managing lists in their heads, have got multiple post-it notes on their walls, multiple lists, and they're not really getting anything done. So how do we get over the fatigue of getting nothing that matters done? First, we have to manage our priorities and our tasks properly. And then we have to learn some key disciplines. The first is how to say no. The second is how to prioritize properly. And the third is how to delegate or delete and get things done. So let's start with task management. Do you have a list? Do you have multiple lists? Do you have everything on your list or just what's important? Well, if you've only got what you think is important on your list, you've made the first mistake. Everything should be on your list. Your head can't handle anything other than that rule of 7 ± 2. So if you've got like the 5 most important things on your list, but the other 30 things you think you need to do are floating around your head, then you're on a losing battle. So one of the first things you need to do is keep a list of everything. You need to note stuff on that list really quickly, but keep a long list. Now you might think I've just contradicted myself. When we talk about prioritization, you'll understand why this list is important. The list could be a handwritten list. You could use an app like OneNote or Google Tasks. The one thing is that you shouldn't be doing is using your email as your task list. That's a horrible way to run your life. Your email is a communication tool, not a list task management tool. So today, using your email as your task management system stops. It ends today. There's a massive difference between a well-managed task list and a well-managed email inbox. Email is the absolute death of productivity. Microsoft did a study where they found on an average, most people spend 20% of their week managing their email. Are we crazy? So we spend 20% of our time managing email, responding to email, reading something that doesn't make sense. Add to that all the crazy meetings we go to that don't add any value, chasing people for work that hasn't been done yet, and listening to old mate in the next cubicle moan about his boss, his wife, his colleagues. All of this is ruining your day and you're not getting anything done. So what we need to do is make email exactly what it is. A once or twice a day chance to see what people want from you, what they think you need to know. And neither of this means you need to do something about it. So I'm going to introduce you to a process built by David Allen, great book called Getting Things Done. Now it can seem quite complex, so I've simplified it down to a process that absolutely, if executed properly, will succeed in making you good at prioritizing and getting the key objectives of your life done. But because I've simplified it down, and because I really want to focus on what's important to you and your objectives, I want to give it a bit more of an exclamation mark. So I've called it Getting Shit Done. And here's how it works. First off, open your brain. Take out all of the garbage that's in there that you're trying to hold on to, whether it's tasks, notes, ring that guy back, answer that email. Get it all out and into your task list. However you're going to manage your task list, whether it's in OneNote or Google Tasks, or you're just going to handwrite a list, get everything out and on the list as fast as possible. Every time someone says, I need this from you, note it down, one sentence, real fast. Bob needs this from me. By when would be a good idea to ask, and then leave it. As soon as you write it down, give it a priority, just something straight out of your head, A, B, or C. Is this high priority for you, or is it a low priority for you? It's not about what Bob wants, it's about what you want. And then apply to it what I call a quick code. We've already sorted out the priority. It's a priority A for me because it's part of my objective for the week. How much time is it going to take? Guess. 30 minutes, 15 minutes. Try and be exact if you can, but don't spend any more than a few seconds trying to work out how long it's going to take. And then are you going to put it in your calendar because there's a deadline, there's a time frame, in which case you're going to give it a C for calendar or an NA for next action. I'm going to do it when I next have an opportunity to do it, and it's not in the calendar. Okay, and the next bit is the piece David Allen came up with, which is really important. And it's important that you don't do this necessarily when you put the task on the task list, but when you get your next opportunity to triage your task list. It might be 10 minutes. I've added 5 things since the last time I looked at my task list. Right, now I'm going to decide, am I going to do it? Am I going to delegate it? Am I going to defer it? Or am I going to delete it? Now, if I'm going to defer it, I've got some options. Am I going to put it in the someday maybe pile, which means probably never? If it's not going to be part of your key objective, why are you wasting your time with it? But you might think, maybe one day I will do something about it, so that's a good list to put it in. Is it just a resource you want to come back to? Okay. File it away under resources. You want to keep it, you might want to look back at it, but it's not overly important. So you have a resources folder, whether it's in your Windows folders or a resource tray that you can go back to and find that piece of information that you may need one day. Or you've delegated it, or you're waiting on something to come back from somebody, and so you put it on your waiting list. Now all of this can be part of the same list. If you look at my list in OneNote, I've got all my next actions at the top, the things that have gone into the list but I have yet triaged. I've then got my prioritized list of actions. I've got the someday maybe list, which is at the bottom because I may never get there. And then I've got my waiting list, which I look at every day to make sure that I'm getting stuff that I need by the time that I need it. Then if I'm deferring it, I'm either putting it in the calendar, like I said earlier, or I'm just putting it on the next action list. And the key to this is you need to block time out in your week to get stuff done. It's not just about having a list, it's about prioritizing that list and then blocking out time in your calendar when you are going to get key actions that are going to play into your objectives done this week. So in amongst all your meetings, your meetings with teammates, your meetings with projects, make sure you've got at least 30% of your time, if not more, try and get to 50 or 60% of your time blocked out for getting actions done that actually are going to help you achieve your objectives. And so the key to this process is making sure that you are super disciplined about when you put things on the list, when you're going to prioritize, and then when you're actually going to get stuff done. You don't want your task management to take over what you probably consider to be email management at the moment, where you're wasting so much of your day just managing a task list. Get stuff on it fast, prioritize it, work out what's important, delegate or delete the rest, and then get on with getting objectives done. Now, I'm a huge proponent of continuous improvement. Plan, do, check, act. If you add this into your weekly program, plan it out. You should put 30 minutes into your day, into your calendar for working out which tasks are important, prioritizing, delegating stuff to other people, which you might use your email for. Just 30 minutes, either first thing in the morning or my favorite, last thing at night. That way I know the 5 things I'm going to do tomorrow, when I'm going to do them, what I'm not going to do, who do I need to tell no to, and then by the time I get in the morning, I'm ready to go. And a key discipline, and I've said it already, is be ruthless. Get your tasks in your task list real fast. Prioritize them. Align them to your main objectives and then decide what you're going to do tomorrow, the 3 key objectives you've got for tomorrow. And be prepared to say no to people. It's one of the most important disciplines of this entire process. Don't let other people sabotage your day with their dreary task requests and mundane conversations that aren't going to help you achieve your goals. Now, a key trick to this whole process is don't get sucked into meetings that you don't need to attend. If you're going to attend a meeting, you need to know that you're going to add value to the meeting. It's going to add value to you. it's key to an objective, and that you know the why of the meeting and the time frame. If someone says it's going to take 15 minutes, give them 15 minutes, but don't give them more. If you don't know what the objective is or the agenda for the meeting, ask for it. Don't attend if you don't know why you're going, and hold people to account on their meeting etiquette. Now for the check and act part of plan, do, check, act. The check and the act part comes at the end of the week. A 30-minute weekly retrospective review of what you achieved. Did you achieve your objectives? If not, why not? And what are you going to do next week to make sure that you do achieve your 3 to 5 objectives next week? The review is critical to making sure you go through that plan, do, check, act cycle again next week more efficiently than you did this week. So now you've got the recipe for success in terms of getting shit done. Focus on your objectives. Be ruthless with your time. Review and improve every week. Don't walk around with lists in your head. Your head's not designed for it. Have one list and make that your focus every week. Commit to the discipline of getting stuff done and watch how much more successful you are going to be every day, every week by following this framework. So what are you going to do? Right, you're going to implement this process as soon as possible. Get a week in and review how you went. Then come back to me and tell me how it went. Tell me what went well, tell me what didn't go well. And I bet you'll be telling me about how much more productive you actually were this week. And if you want any help with any aspect of this process, any aspect of implementing it, then reach out to me. I might be able to tweak something, I might be able to help with something, and we can make sure it's successful in the next week. Guys, I want to keep the community growing. I want as many people getting the help that they need in order to find their purpose, be more productive, and generally become more purposeful human beings. So like, subscribe, turn on the notifications, tell your friends and your family and your colleagues about the channel. I want as many people to gain something from this channel as possible, and enjoy the journey.